Sup guys, He King here, bringing you a review on the latest One Piece chapter. It's Saturday today, so by the time I edit and upload this, it'll probably be Sunday. I apologize for the lateness, guys. Mostly because I forgot there was an episode on Thursday. What the hell was I doing on Thursday? Oh, I was out. I'm busy actually. I've totally forgot. But yeah, I read it yesterday. I'm doing a review this morning. Working a few hours. But yeah, let me just get to the point of this week's chapter. Holy crap, we went to Elbaf, guys. We had a flashback to Elbaf, and it actually helped develop Big Mom's character in a very unexpected way. I mean, who would have thought it? What's the unexpected thing, really? Big Mom is not a giant, guys. What? She's not a giant. This whole time we thought she was this giant mistress of sorts, and she's not even that. No, she's basically a normal human being, but with a disorder that made her grow too large when she was a child. She's basically got two normal parents, and they dumped her a sorry ass on this island because they couldn't cope with her and her giantness. But yeah, she's not officially a giant. She's not technically a giant. She is just a normal child with a disability, I guess. That's what it is. And it's really sad to learn that her parents abandoned her, basically, with the promise that they would give her a lot of candy if they just waited there, if she waited on the island for them. So that's really deep and sad, like, if you think about it. Like, damn, who would have thought that Big Mom's got a tragic childhood? But then I guess most of characters in this series have tragic childhoods. So yeah, that's very deep, really. And one of the main reasons they even put her on that island in the first place, not because there's also giants, but because of the person, of the human that works there, because we get introduced to Mother Caramel. And we get a quick backstory about her, how she saved these giants from execution by the Marines, how, you know, how she believes in God and the righteousness and all that good, and having to, like, you know, teach them about the ways of men and stuff like that. So, you know, she wants to create a community where everyone can coexist, people of all races, shapes and colors and sizes, and etc, etc. It's basically the philosophy that Big Mom herself has at this point, and you can kind of see where she learned that from. Mother Caramel was basically her inspiration in that philosophy. But yeah, we get introduced to Mother Caramel, and she lives on Elbaf with the giants, and she takes in all the lost children who aren't lost anymore, or who, I guess, yeah, like you would say, are lost. Yeah, I mean, there's even a prince that lives there that she's raising, along with a bunch of other kids who I guess were misbehaving, or misbehaved children, or just, you know, spoiled brats that no one wanted, so she took them in. And she takes, you know, Big Mom, or Lily, in because her parents abandoned her there, and because specifically they wanted. I mean, they were sad. They were sad when we see them cry when they were leaving there. But I guess you can't deal with that. I mean, look at her, like, she's huge. I mean, how are you gonna raise a kid like that? You can't really. But still, that's no excuse, to be honest. And they leave her there. She meets Mother Caramel, and she takes her in. And I think for once, Lily is sort of in her comfort zone, because she's with people who are like her, who are big, you know, big chairs, big places, big houses, that kind of thing. So she's fascinated by this, and yeah, she takes a liking to it, and she fits right at home. But then you've got all these other people there as well, who are of different races and that. I mean, we start to learn a bit more about you know, Big Mom's personality in general when she was a child. And again, it's sad and very sweet, but also very dark, but understandable. Because, for example, like, she ends up locking a wolf and a bear together in a cage because they were fighting, and she wanted them to become friends. The bear ended up eating the wolf, as you would expect, because these are wild animals, for Christ's sake. And in her annoyance and anger to teach the bear a lesson, she ended up smacking it. You know, just to, you know, the way a parent would, I guess, smack a child when they're misbehaving. She smacks the bear, and she ended up killing it in one hit. Now, we don't see that happen, obviously, but Mother Caramel comes there and Lillian explains it. And this obviously freaks out all the other kids, especially Mother Caramel. But she understands, you know, because Lily even says it. She understands that she just wanted to do a good thing. She wanted to do a nice thing, and she wanted to teach these, you know, animals just to be friends and that. She wants happiness and peace and all that, I guess. You know, she's a kid, and she doesn't know her own strength. That's the thing. And it kind of reminded me of Larry from Mice and Men. I know it's a bit harsh, considering Lily isn't technically mentally challenged, but the way she's acting sort of is close to that point. But yeah, yeah, it's just very it's very sad because she doesn't understand her own strength. I mean, this is a human being with a disability that makes her very large and yet very powerful, and it's amazing that for a kid of her age and her size, she was this strong. I mean, compare that to all the other characters we've seen who are like devil fruit users, and she has no devil fruit ability. Like, whoa, she's really strong in that sense. And yeah, I guess the argument that how is she even a Yonko, that kind of goes out the window now, because yeah, it makes sense that she would be a Yonko. I mean, yeah, she's even if she didn't have Prometheus and Zeus, she's very powerful. And towards the end of the chapter, we get a major understanding of why she would end up becoming a Yonko in the first place. But yeah, Mother Caramel, forgives her for that and tries to teach the other children about and there's even a point in the chapter where she tries to rip off the fins of one of the kids because she doesn't understand that he's a mer person. She thinks that he's just a human being with a condition. She's trying to fix him, as it were. And Mother Caramel has to explain to her, no, that's a mer person, that's different, that's how he's supposed to look. There are different people, different species, and Lily starts to understand that. And we also get a bit more backstory in the giants as well. They even mention, the giants themselves even mention Dory and Borky, for Christ's sake, and they mention how it's been 40 years since they left, or well, that island fighting, and they haven't even sorted the difference out yet. So they pretty much say that they're going to give it 10 more years and then go back and get them. Obviously, something went horribly wrong because it's been more than 100 years and those guys never went back to get their captains back. So yeah, one can assume that what happens at the end of this chapter is a direct result of why they never went back to the island to get them back. But it's nice to see that connection there, to get that connection that yeah, these guys were very famous, very powerful, and they're still remembered on the home island. We also, as the story, as the chapter goes on, we get a little bit of a time skip, obviously. And we get the birth of Loki the giant, who we don't see, but they're celebrating it, and because it's like I think it's the giants celebrate their own version of Ramadan, I think, because they're gonna be fasting for 12 days, and Lily obviously loves her sweets and candies and cannot cope with that, but she tries for the benefit of Mother Caramel and the others. And yeah, for 12 days, she tries to fast for 12 days, but she only makes it, I think, up to the 3rd or 4th day before she loses her cool. And before that, she had this sweet, right, that I think she's never had before. And that sweet, she wants it. She wants that sweet. And I imagine it's something that she got addicted to very instantly, and it drove her insane. Because after the 4th day, she's gone basically into one of her rampages. I guess this is one of her first major rampages she had, the very first one. And it directly results in her kicking every single giant's ass on the island. I don't know if she killed them or just left them injured. I imagine that most of them are dead, and that's one of the reasons why they kicked her out, Elbaf, in the first place, because you got the 2 elders there, but basically calling her not a child but a demon and trying to kill her, and Mother Caramel gets in the way of that. We don't see what happens. I imagine she either gets cut down trying to protect Lillian or something else happens, but yeah, it's a very sad situation and yet a very expected one. It makes sense that this would happen, but you have to wonder, was it the candy that she ate beforehand that drove her insane, or is this just a general behavior? Because she really was trying to fast and it just didn't work out in the end. And speaking of Mother Caramel, there's also a moment where we do first get introduced to her when she's rescuing the giants from execution, where there's suddenly like this storm that fumes. And I have to wonder, does she have a devil fruit ability, or is this a case of her being in possession of Zeus or Prometheus at the time, and did she transfer her powers over to Big Mom later on in life? Overall, this was a very interesting chapter. It was a very good chapter. It was a very unexpected chapter. I knew we were going to go to Elbaf, we were going to flash back to it, but to see this development in Big Mom's character, to get this understanding that she was actually an abandoned child who was trying to be nice, who was trying to make friends, and yeah, she was addicted as hell to sweets regardless, but she was just an innocent kid, and she ends up turning into this person that we now see, this very ruthless person who, even though she's got this large family, she kind of doesn't really give a toss about them, to be honest, to a certain extent. So you have to wonder, what was the extreme condition absolutely that transformed her into the Yonko that we know today. And yeah, overall it was a very good chapter, especially with the introduction of Mother Caramel. I wonder how that ties into the bigger events of things. And yeah, I'm just curious how this entire arc in itself is going to basically end. But yeah, yeah, Elbaf, man. After all this time, we finally get to go to it, even if it is a flashback. But it's gonna be very interesting when we do officially go there in the first place, because that's gonna be where Usopp's character is gonna get probably the most development. The same way that Sanji is getting his development in Layer Cake, and Zoro is definitely gonna get his big character development moment in Wano. The same way that Luffy's gonna get it properly in Raftel. Elbaf is basically Usopp's place where he's gonna get the most focus. So yeah, I'm curious to wait to get to that and to see that happen. But for now, just what we saw, just a sort of introduction, a glimpse of it by Oda. This, early in the stage, I wouldn't even say early, I mean this late, but this point in time, like, it makes you excited. It makes you excited for things to come. But yeah, overall, very, very good chapter, very, very good character development regarding Big Mom's character. And yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next, man. As always, guys, like and subscribe, whatever, and I shall see you when I shall see you. Take care, and bye.